So, on the right of your picture, it's David Hunt and Sean Keeling, and on the left of your picture, it is the British pair of Ollie Cook and Stuart Innes. South Africa against Britain, and South Africa have gone off very fast indeed.
And it looks to me like the South African crew just getting pushed again a little bit more towards the centre of the river, and the British crew's flooding this event, it seems, Martin.
And if you're wondering what that incredible noise was, it's the engine of Ulysses. They really have to get a steam on to catch these crews up. The throttle goes on full power and it drowns the microphones out. And the South Africans are being warned for their steering. That's a very handy lead to have at this point in the race. We're about 45 seconds in, and we're riding with the South African pair. On the far right, that's David Hunt, and closest to us, Sean Keeling. Sean Keeling, of course, was in the pair that finished in the final of the World Championships last year in Amsterdam. This is a new crew put together by their coach, Roger Barrow. David Hunt's come in for Vince Breed, who we saw earlier in the four. But the British, Ollie Cook and Stuart Innes, have stopped the rot, and they're holding the South Africans, the British in the yellow boat at the top of your picture.
And yes, some fantastic calibre in both of these crews. As you said, you know, we've got sort of world medalists, and if you look to the left of your screen, Stuart Innes there, Durham University alumni. He actually was in the men's 8 that got the gold medal just recently at the World Cup. And so it's interesting to see him here now in the small boats.
That's right, and of course, if you just joined us, Camilla Hadland doing the commentary with me. She was captain of women's boats at Durham last year, which is why she's so excited about this particular event. We're looking at the South Africans from the University of Pretoria, and they have got a very handy lead. They are the favourites in this race, but the British have really come in with a vengeance. They have stopped the lead that South Africans had, or stopped the lead getting any bigger, and it's a very, very close race in this at this stage early on. If you've really got an overlap between the boats, there's not much between them, Camilla.
No, absolutely. And I think in these coxless pairs, which, you know, the event with one blade each rather than the double sculls, a lot can change in the smaller boats very quickly. I think that it's, you know, if you've got a bit of overlap, it's very, you know, common to see crews kind of chopping and changing with the lead very often in the smaller boats, would you say?
That's right, and that's what makes the small boats so exciting. When you are very close, you get a great shot there of the umpire's launch behind, seeing fair play. Both of these boats are steered by means of a rudder attached to the foot of the rowers, and they're steering both excellently. As you see the umpire behind, resplendent in his blue blazer. There's the drone shot for you, and the South Africans, well, they're still in the lead, but the British pair of Ollie Cook, he's the guy with the blonde hair. He was in the pair with James Fode in the World Championships in 2013. This season he hasn't managed to get in one of the top British boats. He was actually sculling, I think, at the recent Marlow Regatta, won the single sculls there. And of course, as you've mentioned there, on the right, there's Stuart Innes, who is the spare man effectively for the British team, but he's subbed into the 8 while Constantine Louloudis has been doing his exams. We saw Stan Louloudis back in the British 8, winning today, beating the Australians, the great Oxford strokeman. But Stuart Innes has been spoken of very highly by everybody about his attitude, his determination, and what a great result the British have had at World Cup 2. And now we're seeing that determination from Stuart Innes, Camilla.
Oh, absolutely. I think they've just gone up a gear there. You can see how they're eating into that South African lead. We've gone from being about a boat length down now to being about half a length. And as I say, these things change so quickly, and just 1 foot on the gas, and you know, you can just chomp away at those puddles of the South Africans. Ollie Cook in the bow seat, he's going to be able to sort of see them out of the corner of his eye and sort of, you know, shout to Stuart in front of him and say, look, I think we need to move now in the middle here, you know, to make sure that we press on and get our bows in front.
So a great move from the British pair, who are not the favourites in this race, the South Africans. Strokes, of course, by Sean Keeling, who was the stroke of the pair in the world final, would you believe, last year. It's changed now. David Hunt's come into the boat, but nevertheless the South Africans firm favourites. There's David Hunt, both with red peak caps. Sean Keeling from University Pretoria Rowing Club, closest to you, a very, very experienced rower. He will know what to do faced with the British attack, but I think the determination shown by the British has been exemplary, and Stuart Innes, well, it must have helped him being part of the British A with the likes of Mo Sabihi, Alex Gregory, and of course Jürgen Grobler. Look at their course, straight as a die down the booms, Camilla.
Oh, absolutely fantastic to see. You know, steering in these boats, especially with this wind today, must be extremely tricky to hold your line so straight, you know, straight as a line, because it can affect, you know, the boat speed a lot if you're sort of ping-ponging around the course. So, you know, both of these crews, you can tell they're very experienced, they're holding themselves very straight, and I think that, you know, the steering there from the British might have actually helped them to just get their bow balls in front. I think they're about a canvas up now.
So with less than 500 metres to go, it's neck and neck in the semi-final of the Silver Goblets, the event for men's pairs. It's the British squad men on the, well, in the yellow boat on top of your screen, and they are leading the South African favourites. And there is probably about a minute and a half of rowing in this. Now, it is possible for South Africans to change their pace, but it's going to be really difficult in this headwind for them to get back on the British. They're so fit and they're so well trained. They do so many training sessions, 15 or 16 training sessions a week, many kilometres on the ergometer, the rowing machine, and I don't think Stuart Innes or Ollie Cook are going to stop their charge towards the finish line anytime soon.
Nah, I don't think they're going to roll over and let the South Africans come back at them now, but I think we're going to see another gear change here coming into that wall of noise from the enclosures. If you look at the banks there, there's all the, you know, colourful regatta enclosure and the stewards enclosure, and you can hear the noise from the crowd, you know, driving these two pairs towards the line, and you'll see now there'll be a bit of a gear change from both crews as they come into the last, you know, couple of 100 metres.
And it will not surprise you or me, I think, if Stuart Innes rows his way into contention for a seat in the senior British team at the World Championships this year, and indeed the Olympics next year. A fantastic performance from the ex-Durham alumnus and the Leander Stroke man of the pair, backed up by Ollie Cook, whose family have done so much to protect the clean water heritage of our sport with their work in Zambezi in Africa. And it's been an amazing triumph. They have really rowed beautifully. The South Africans led, but it's the British pair who row through, and that is a famous victory over the South African favourites in the semi-final of the Goblets. It will be Britain v Britain, Fode Langridge versus Cook and Innes in the final of the Silver Goblets tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, you saw an absolutely incredible race, and one of the bright new stars of our sport, undoubtedly Stuart Innes, stroking that boat to perfection.